This is Danny with QuadLugs, and we have someone that sent a box quad stem kit to help them out on the build. So looking at it, the first thing I noticed is that the wood is, some of the wood is installed wrong. These pieces here are supposed to be 5 1/4 inches long. Instead, they were installed here and here. So in the video we show this is 5 1/4 inch long here and here. All the motor arms are 5 inches long, and of course the landing gear is 3. So I'm going to move this around, put it where it needs to be. Looking underneath, the ESC looks like it's installed good. It actually looks really nice. All the screws seem to be in. Everything looks pretty good there. These arms are loose. These screws need to be tightened up really good. I'll do that also, but I'm assuming they hadn't gotten that far yet. Let's go inside. Okay, first of all, I would not have shipped the battery in the quad. I had originally asked for the battery not to be shipped because I really don't like, you know, if this was shipped via air freight or put in a plane to be shipped, you know, that's kind of a no-no. First thing I noticed in here was, beside the battery, was the connector was never put on, the battery connector. So I'll put that on. The receiver is wired wrong. Let me go ahead and take this off. Again, per the video, first set of wires, you have your ground, your positive, and your signal. This would have been the first signal wire is the white wire, and that should have been throttle, and that's all on the video. It was installed on auxiliary 1. That's wrong. Throttle's on this side. The second wire is this wire, and I mean the second signal wire is this one. This should have been aileron, and it's on elevator. Wrong. The next wire should have been elevator. It's on gear channel. Wrong. The next wire should have been rudder. It's elevator. Wrong. The next wire should have been gear channel. It's on rudder. Wrong. This next wire should not have even been hooked up. In fact, it was shown again on the video of actually being taken out of the clip. Should not even be hooked up. Here it's hooked up on throttle. You're not going to get a signal with this. You're not going to get the proper signal. So anyway, this is totally wrong. Next thing. The controller is actually in backwards. Actually, more than backwards. There's an arrow on here, and I, you know, it was shown in the video that this arrow normally faces forward. In fact, it's facing back. Also, instead of putting it forward, we turned it 90 degrees to the left. This is all on the video. So this wiring would have been on this side, and by turning it that way, like we showed in the video, you could get to the USB hookup easily. So if this video was watched, this wouldn't even look the same. I mean, it's not even close to being the same. So wrong. Installed wrong. The ESC, I know on the ESC they don't match up to the motors, but to get them to match up, you did this and this. You can do it that way. It's not the way it's in the video, and we can discount that. The other thing you can't is that this is all wrong. So we show motor number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So whoever installed it, this is totally wrong. I mean, we're starting here on 3, 4, 5, and 6 instead of 1, you know, started on 1, motor 1. It's shown on the video. And these wires are wrong. If you go by the video, it's going to clearly say how to put them on. Motor number 1 goes here, 2, 3, and 4. And when you look at the video for the Q-brain, it'll also show how to set this up. I don't know the rhyme or reason to this, but it's wrong. Okay, so we're going to correct this, we're going to correct this, we're going to correct this, we're going to correct the wiring here, and here. We're going to put the plug on, and we're going to correct the wood, and then we're going to go ahead and set up the lever pilot on the CC3D controller. And also, we're going to correct this. So anyway, I'm going to get this taken care of. We'll show them to you after that. Okay, we finished up correcting all the problems that we found. Anyway, we'll start here, I guess. We have, on all of our new kits, we have a screw that we'll be putting on to secure the lid. So I went ahead and made the holes in it. I'll be furnishing the screw, the washer, and the nut, and you guys can put it on a little bit later or when you get it back. The way I normally do it is this way. Go ahead and put the nut in the back, and I'm just putting this on just to hold it in place. Okay, now that's going to hold it in place while you put hot glue all the way around. Let it cool real good, and that'll hold the nut in place. And then after it's dried, of course the nut will be in back. You can, when you close it, it'll just screw in. Okay? So you guys can do that when you get it back. I'll include that. One of the other things, and well, we'll go outside first. I have the motors reinstalled. All of the ties were loose. You need to tighten them down. So these were all loose. I removed it all, tightened them up real good. I turned the motor this way, if you notice. That's how I normally install them. So whenever I remove it, I'll put it like I normally do it. So that's how I normally do them. And I have this secured. I went ahead and changed this wood out, and or actually moved it around. This is supposed to, or this is now 5 1/4 inches long here and here. All of the arms are 5. Like I was saying before, these here were reversed with these here. So I put them the right way, okay? And, you know, reinstalled it. So that's done. We'll go inside. The controller now is the right way, meaning that the arrow here was supposed to be facing forward, just like in the video. But when we do the install, we turn it 90 degrees, facing this way. What that does, it allows this wiring and this wiring to be neater. And it also allows, right in this area here, is where the USB plugs in. So, you know, that gets plugged into the computer, and we put it on a lever pilot to program the quad. So it makes it much easier to get to it that way. Also, We normally push these all the way forward. Gives more room in this area here to put the batteries. Corrected this wiring. If you'll notice here, this is what I normally do, and you'll see what I did. The wiring here is split up like we have in the video. Makes it much easier if you have to troubleshoot anything. And like I said, it's compensated here when it's wired in. If you'll notice here, we're starting with motor 1 through 4 before you had started on this side, and it was going this way starting on 6. Wrong. Anyway, it's fixed. We put the plug on, and that's done. The receiver, we wired it the proper way and remounted it. That's done. And then the antennas, you have 2 of them. One is this way, one is facing this way. And if you read your manual on the receiver and the transmitter, right angles are the best way to install the antennas. And this gives you a right angle. Okay? I put it on Lever Pilot. Everything's set up. I ran it through the wizard on Lever Pilot on the vehicle, the quad, and ran through the wizard on the transmitter, your transmitter, on Lever Pilot also. It's also bound, and it's synced in between the two with the program. So everything's ready there. So whenever you get this back, you'll be able to put your props back on and fly it. Your battery was not charged. I'm charging the battery now. It'll be discharged to a holding charge before I ship it back. Now you're going to have to charge it back. So you're going to have to get to know your charger and read that manual. And you know, go ahead and get your battery charged. Make sure it's fully charged before you fly. You need to get a cell checker. I can give you a link to that if you want to email me on that. And what it'll allow you to do is check the cell voltage on your battery. So it's a 3-cell battery, and you can check each cell. You never want to really get it down. I normally run mine around 3.8, down to 3.8. So what I suggest is that you fly it for 5 minutes, you land it with your cell checker, check it, see where it's at. If it's not to 3.8, fly it for another minute, check it, another minute, check it, another minute, check it, until you reach that point, you know, 3.8, and then you'll know how long you can fly it. You don't have a timer on this radio, but you can set it on your cell phone or you know, any other means you have. Highly suggest that. If your battery runs too low on charge, you're going to ruin your battery. 1, 2, you could cause a fire. 3, it could just drop out of the sky. So, you know, you don't want any of those to happen. So, if you're not going to get a cell checker, what I would definitely do is fly it for 5 minutes, bring it back into the shop, put it on the charger, see where it's at. It'll give you that cell count at that point also. And then, you know, kind of adjust your flying times from there. You should get around 9 minutes on this at a moderate rate. When you start flying more aggressive, that time is going to go down a little bit. So I know some people it's got as much as 11 minutes on it, but it's however you fly. Whenever we go out to the field, I'm going to take it to the field, and that's going to be right after this. We're going to do a test flight. So you'll see it firsthand, it being, you know, flown for the first time. So I think that's about it on that. On, if you remember, on the receiver and the controller going to the receiver rather, one wire that was never supposed to have been hooked up. It's in the video. This is that wire. I went ahead and removed it. I'm gonna put it in your package. You can keep that as a spare. I'm also gonna have this in a packet as a spare. There's your screws. I'll return that. That was extra. I put the plug on. You have an extra one here. I'll include that to send back. Now, there was a comment made that you had a lot of extra parts. You really didn't. This is not an extra part to this quad. This is part of your battery charger. If you need some help with it, please let me know. I'll definitely give you all the help I can with it. Just let me know though. This was an extra part. It was a different means to hook up your controller to a different receiver. Watching the video, you didn't see it being installed, so obviously this was not needed. This comes with the Q-brain, and it's a means of calibrating the Q-brain ESC. We don't use this. It's calibrated through the controller, as per the video, the CC3D install video. Okay. So I think we're in pretty good shape. And we're going to go ahead and, of course, your spare box. We're going to go ahead and go out to the field and fly it now.